Okay, welcome to today's YouTube video. This is a different style, so hopefully you enjoy it. Apologies, my writing is, not the neatest. I tried my best, but before I kind of go through and explain this, I want to share a story with you that's literally just played out in my own life over the last couple of weeks. I thought it'd be really useful to share this with you and actually tell you like why this happens, and it kind of confirms everything that I put into the lean and fulfilled lifestyle, and it's kind of interesting to see it play out in my life. So let me start with a story and then we'll kind of, look at the board. So I'll sit here to try not distract you as much. But where do we start? So I've essentially failed at my own weight loss journey. And the reason for this, and kind of to give you a bit of context, I'll kind of talk through the story first. But essentially, for those that may or may not know, I compete in high rocks, absolutely love it. And, I competed in Glasgow, which was mid-March. And basically after Glasgow, did really well, got a PB, but there's a few things that I was like, right, this is what I need to work on. And I just thought, like, one of the biggest things that I need to do right now is lose a bit of weight. Okay, I need to lose 4 or 5 kilos just so I can be a little bit lighter on my feet, not as heavy when I'm running, and that should really help improve my performance for when I compete in high rocks again at the end of May for Riga, which I'm doing with a handful of clients as well, which will be cool. So that was the plan, all right? So just like yourself, when you decide, for whatever reason, you go, need to lose a little bit of weight, I feel inspired and motivated right now, so let's go for it. So what did I do? Started tracking my calories, started making sure I was hitting, more steps every day, doing my workouts as usual. And of course, like the first few weeks, I was motivated, I felt great, I was tracking diligently, I was going out and getting my steps in, I was just doing all the things that I know needs to happen to lose weight. And of course, I lost a few kilos, I felt great, and I was just like, yeah, what a start, 2 weeks in, couple of kilos down, breezing the part, feeling amazing. And then what happened is essentially when life happens, and I had a weekend away. So leading up to that weekend, I was on it, I was doing really well. And then across the weekend, I always, tell my clients we've got some eating out frameworks. We use something called principle-based nutrition, how you can basically eat out, stay on track without having to track it, and all these things that I tell my clients to do. And I kind of just didn't do them. I was like, well, I'm already a couple of kilos down in a few weeks. I'm feeling great. I'm just going to enjoy myself this weekend. Like, I'll still eat the majority of good food, but I'll be fine. So that was the mindset. So it is what it is. Couple of days, weight kind of stayed the same. All is good. And then I'm like, right, Monday, let's get back to it. But then it was the Easter weekend. So for some reason, like I just started the week just not as diligently as I did a few weeks ago. Like I was cutting corners. I started to track my food, but I wasn't tracking absolutely everything. I didn't weigh absolutely everything. I missed a couple of, I just got into that kind of, I was doing all right, but I was just cutting corners. And then the Easter weekend came and I was just like, hit the effort button. Obviously we went away with the family to Northumberland, was amazing, but I drank too much, I ate too much, and I was like, it's fine, it's Easter, get back in on Monday. And, and then I was just like, again, in that cycle of like, okay, I've still got another couple of kilos to go, but just tripping myself up, negotiating with myself, getting complacent and being like, well, I could be disciplined and could get back on it, but, is it worth the stress and the kind of discipline and commitment? And, this just confirms to me that like as an over 30 with a busy life, with maybe children, a family of your own, maybe just a household to run, a career, friendship circles, like unless you create a goal that is inspiring, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, so I won't delve into this too much, but it just ain't going to happen. So there you go. And as of like the last couple of days, I haven't got back to tracking food. I haven't really decided if I'm going to really push myself to lose another few kilos, or I'm just going to like kind of stay where I'm at. And this is what happens. This is what happens time and time again for over 30s. And there is a reason for it. And I actually think back to times when I've committed to my weight loss journey and I've lost, 10, 12, 15 kilos, got into the best shape of my life. Like what in the times that I did that, what allowed me to do it? And it's this right here. So that's the story. I've literally failed at my own weight loss journey, but I was going to be open and honest and vulnerable. Like I'm only a human, I've got a young family, I've got a business to run, I've got loads going on in life. So it happens, but it just confirms that this is what you need if you don't want to fail your weight loss journey ever again. So come and take a little look. Like I said, hopefully you can make out this horrendous writing, as my wife always reminds me that my writing is awful, but she's lovely. But yeah, she's just brutally honest. But this is what happens, and this is what played out in my own scenario. But this is where, in the lean and fulfilled lifestyle, we have something. Okay, we have a framework that we use with clients to stop this happening. Okay, I fell for it. I tell my clients to do this. I didn't do it for myself, and it just confirms. Like when I was in my 20s, I would have been able to just find a way to make it happen before I had kids, before I got married. But like as you grow older and life gets busier, more chaotic, and you have more responsibilities, the reality is, you know, it's just completely different to when you were in your early 20s. You know, if I wanted to lose 4 or 5 kilos, I'd just do it like that, easy, you know, because I'd have nothing to do all day. And, you know, you want to impress people and blah, blah, blah. But like life has changed. And it's the first time I've kind of committed and failed to my weight loss journey in a long time. So anyway, let's get it. So here's what happens, right? You decide to take action. So for me, Harrods, Glasgow, I was like, right, for whatever reason, that was my reason. I want to take action. I'm going to start my weight loss journey. For you, it might be after a heavy weekend, after a couple of months of just kicking a can down a road, not making progress. You go, right, let's commit, let's make it happen. Okay, so you decide to take action. And look, we have this positive uplift. We have rapid progress that occurs because you go from doing nothing about it to something. You're motivated, you're inspired. You start tracking your calories, you start hitting your step goal, you start doing workouts, going to gym classes. You go from doing nothing to starting to build things up again. And what happens is we see rapid progress occur. Okay, so I did this for what, 2 to kind of, 2-3 weeks, kind of, feeling great, good progress banked. And then essentially what happens, and again, this rapid progress that occurs, it in my situation, it was 2 to 3 weeks, but it could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? Normally not longer than that, but typically in that time frame. Then what happens is life. Okay, as a busy over 30 with family, career, responsibilities, life happens, doesn't it? Stress, things outside of your control, you know what I mean. Life just throws you curveball after curveball. So life happens. And kind of like me, it's just life happened. I had a weekend away, and then the weekend after we had another weekend away. Then it was the Easter bank holiday weekend, more chocolate, the sun was out, drinking a bit more than I was doing. So life happened. And this is where over 30s get stuck, okay? And they're in this continual like loop, just on repeat, and they can never break free, is because life happens, okay? So stress is a bit higher. You know, there's more of your mental bandwidth and energy is drained. Your goal, which was a priority, kind of gets pushed down the pecking order. So all these things changes, you know, your mindset, your consciousness around your goals and everything kind of changes. And what happens is complacency kicks in. This is exactly what happened to me. I got complacent. You know, I lost a couple of kilos. I felt so much better in myself. And then I was like, I'm feeling great. I'm in control. I'm smashing it. I've got a weekend away with the family. I'm just going to enjoy myself, let my hair down a bit. And I did that for one weekend, which is fine. But then I let that leak into the next week and then the weekend away. And then I just went, fuck it then. Excuse my French. So complacency kicks in. All right. And this is the issue with most over 30s weight loss goal. Like mine, my goal was, I just want to lose a few kilos. I'll feel a bit better and then running will be easier, right? That's so surface level. That is completely surface level. That is not inspiring. That is not motivating. Yes, I could do it for a couple of weeks when life was easy and I felt good. But when life happened, I was stressed, I was busy, you know, you just like, I could lose a few kilos, but like it's give or take. There's not this like urgency, this pull of like, this is a massive priority to me. I need to be disciplined and show up. Because when you truly have a goal that's inspiring, that like makes you feel excited and you know what it's going to do for your life because it's so impactful, you know, you'll be more disciplined than you ever have before. And unless you've been through that process, you won't realize. I look back to before I was getting married, you know, that was the best weight loss phase I ever did. I did a photo shoot, got into the best shape of my life. Then I did it again, and when the second time I did it, we moved house. Phoebe, my youngest, was 8 weeks old. I was more stressed than I've ever been before. Work was crazy busy. Yet I found a way. I got into the best shape of my life. Did another photo shoot with my clients. It was crazy, and I'm like, how was I so disciplined and committed then, but not now? And the reality is, the goals were so different. Like, the goal was the same, but the meaning behind it was different. You know, I just want to lose a few kilos and feel better. You're not going to commit, especially as an over 30 with a busy life. It's just not going to happen. So complacency kicks in, okay? The desire to be disciplined, to get out your comfort zone, to keep making you a priority and really go for it, just evaporates. You get lost in life. We get distracted and pulled in so many directions. We get complacent, and then we just get stuck in this loop of, all right, I'm going to get back on Monday. Then you don't, and then, it's fine, I did a few, you know, and you just get stuck negotiating with yourself, and never moving the needle. So how do we go from, taking action, getting this positive uplift, we see rapid progress that occurs, we feel better, life obviously happens, which we cannot avoid, but how do we keep going? How do we stay motivated, keep consistent? Not just 2 to 4 weeks, but 6, 9, 12 months. We get in the best shape of our life, build the habits, transform who we are inside and out. How do we keep going to achieve that dream result? That is supposed to be a star face emoji. It looks horrendous, I apologize. And I don't know if you can see this, but it's this, okay? AGSF, Audacious Goal Setting Framework. This is what I use with every single client inside the Lean and Fulfilled lifestyle when they're in phase lean, which is all about how do we go from, making a bit of progress, losing a stone, feeling better, to going all the way, to getting into that dream shape that you've always wanted, to losing that stubborn body fat, to finally hitting that weight loss target that you've had for so many years. How do we do that? Okay? And we set an audacious goal. An audacious goal it forces you to get out of your comfort zone. It forces you to make yourself and goal a priority in your life. And there's loads of things that we use when creating this that allow for that: societal pressure, there's accountability tasks that we use to actually make it a thing. Because you can say, I want to lose a few kilos and it'll be good for my health and I'll feel better. It's not going to get you out of bed at 5 a.m, okay, to be disciplined. It's not going to make you go, oh, that Easter chocolate looks good, but do you know what? I don't need it. Like, I've stuck to my nutritional goals. I'll be able to enjoy it later down the line, and maybe I'll build it in a few days, but right now I don't need it. Okay, that's the difference. And an audacious goal will do that for you, because an audacious goal it gets you out of your comfort zone. It forces you to commit, okay? It creates urgency because we had a deadline, okay? If I wanted to lose these couple of kilos, there's no real urgency or clarity of when or where that looks like. It's just, yeah, I'll just try and lose a few kilos, but I'll probably be trying to lose them few kilos for weeks and months to come if I don't have a deadline, okay? A deadline creates urgency, okay? A great example is, I don't know where I thought of this, but I've always like related to this, is that if you were having a house party and your parents were away for the weekend and they said, right, we're back on Sunday, you had a big house party on Friday night, it'll take you all weekend to get the house sorted, but you'd make sure you did it before they came home at 5 o'clock on Sunday. But if they suddenly said, oh, our flight was cancelled, we're coming home, back in a few hours, you'd be like, I need to get this house sorted, and you get it done in 2 hours. So the whole point is, a task will take as long as you give it. So if there's no end goal, it'll go on forever and ever. Complacency kicks in, you just get stuck in this loop of like motivated, uninspired, okay? Deadlines create urgency. So that's really important. But then, you could say, oh, I want to lose a stone in 4 weeks. Again, it's not enough. It's a bit more, but we need more. How can we make that goal audacious? Because an audacious goal, it makes it exciting. It gets you out your comfort zone. It forces you to challenge yourself to see what you're capable of. It almost sexifies your goal. Instead of just, I want to lose a few kilos, it's like, I want to lose a stone to get into the best shape of my life for my wedding, okay? Or to fit into size 10 jeans, or, we have loads of examples that we use with clients. I've had clients do like a tennis photo shoot. We've done fitness photo shoots, which are a great tool, lifestyle photo shoots, obviously holidays, weddings, like you name it. There are so many audacious goals that we can use. Like a great one as well is like if you're going on holiday or you've got an event coming up and you want to maybe buy, I'd love to fit into a size small top, or I'd love to fit into size 12 jeans, go and buy them jeans. And we set a deadline, we set the goal, and right, here's the plan then for the next 12 weeks. We're working towards fitting into size 10 jeans or 12 jeans, whatever. And there's little accountability tasks like sharing it with the community that we have, but also sharing it with friends and family. So it becomes a thing. It's like a goal that people know that you're on that journey. So there's pressure, people are asking you about it. If you sign up to do a fitness photo shoot and you tell the world, look, in 12 weeks, I'm doing a photo shoot, to see how much weight I can lose and just to try and get into the best shape of my life. Like, people are going to ask you about it. It becomes a thing. It forces you to make yourself a priority because, let's be honest, we get pulled in so many directions in life and there's always things that are going to get in the way. So unless you have a goal that is truly inspirational and you truly understand what that's going to do for you physically, mentally, emotionally, what you're actually trying to prove to yourself that you are capable of when years maybe you didn't believe. When I did a photo shoot, I never believed that I would have a body that women loved, that was sexy, strong, muscular, manly, whatever you want to call it. Like yeah, I just thought my genetics were bad and I'd never feel comfortable in my own skin. So to do a photo shoot, the motivation was not just to get in the best shape of my life, but proving to that younger version of myself, all them years of negative thoughts, of lack of confidence, of just beating myself up and self-sabotaging, is to prove to that version of myself that, Ben, you always had it. Like, anything's possible when you put your mind to it. And like doing that photo shoot, to see my body was like, wow. And it's not about getting a six pack. It's not about, ego or taking your top off and looking good. Like, it's not about that. It's about setting something that is personal to you, that you can really commit to and make a priority in your life. Another great example is a client that wants to get back into horse riding, but they haven't felt that, they haven't felt like they're at a weight where they're comfortable to horse ride. They're not confident in themselves. So they set themselves a goal of like, if I could get back to, say, 70 kilos, this is just a random number I've pulled out there. But if I can get to 70 kilos, that's a time when I was riding my horse and I felt comfortable in my own skin. Health was a priority in my life. So if I can get back to that, and book into ride on my horse for 8 weeks in the future, because they're not miles away, that'll just be monumental, and like, how exciting and inspiring is that? A client that said, they love playing tennis, and they looked at some pictures of them playing tennis and they didn't like it, so they decided to book in, a tennis session with a photographer who took pictures, and we committed to a weight loss phase leading up to that, and to look at the pictures and go like, look at my arms, they look toned, I look way better than when I did it last time. Like, that's amazing. Like, how cool is that? That is what's going to make your goal a priority in your life, so that when life happens, you have the mindset, the discipline, the consistency to find a way to overcome it, and just show up with more energy, more confidence, more consistency than you ever had before. So look, the main thing that I want you to take from this YouTube video is that the reason I failed my weight loss goal is because it was just surface level. It was literally surface level goal with no real meaning, no real like, yeah, it'd be nice, but it's not a necessity. And that's why it was a priority for a little bit, and then it just got pushed down the pecking order. And I was just like, yeah, it's fine, take it or leave it. Okay, so you need to set audacious goals and attach it to your weight loss goal with a deadline to create urgency, commitment, excitement, energy with your journey. And this is why inside the Lean and Fulfilled Lifestyle, we have an audacious goal setting framework. Okay, a framework that my clients follow so that they don't get complacent, so they don't fall off the bandwagon. They actually, they don't just make a bit of progress and feel better, they go all the way. And then once you go all the way, like, it's liberating. You've finally achieved the body of your dreams, the health, the habits, everything. Then you can learn how to actually sustain that. So health and fitness isn't always just about weight loss. It's like, no, that's a phase, that's a moment in time. And now it's about stepping into the best version of myself. So look, I'll end it there. I hope that was useful and you like the new format. Plenty more of these to come. But thanks as always, and I'll see you